Humans want freedom. It's in our nature. That's why the past year has been really taxing for most people, being stuck in their houses for months on end. However, let us inject a bit of levity on the situation by looking at various hilarious ways people have found themselves hopelessly stuck onto something. Number 1 is particularly funny just because it happened to a current world leader. Stay tuned for that one, as here are 10 people who got stuck. With all that said and done, let's begin, shall we? Number 10. Stuck in a roller coaster. Riding roller coasters is fun. Just ask any adrenaline junkie. They're one of the few things in the world where you can feel being in constant peril, but always in relative safety. That is, until something horribly goes wrong. And in this first entry, something definitely did. A roller coaster malfunction left 20 tourists stuck in the air for over an hour in an amusement park in Wuxi, East China's Jingzhou province in September of 2020. Fortunately, no one was injured, and investigators are currently looking into the case of the mishap. Park management immediately issued an apology to the terrified riders and to the public. Number 9. Too good at its job. It started out as a normal day for 17-year-old Grace Davidson, but it was on her way home from a soccer game when things went haywire. She strapped herself into the back of her mom's car and promptly fell asleep. When she woke up, she was hopelessly entangled in her seatbelt, and nothing she nor her mom could do helped in getting her out. Dallas police were called in to help, but weren't prepared for what they saw. So fire and rescue teams were called. It took detaching the seatbelt from the car itself to free the stuck, yet unharmed teen. Number 8. Next time, call a plumber. If your toilet is blocked and you have no idea how to fix it, just call a plumber. It might be a bit expensive, but it's better than actually busting your toilet. Because unlike you, they know what they're doing. It's also to spare you from a potentially embarrassing situation. Gracie Henderson dropped her bracelet into her toilet one day, causing it to get blocked. Instead of calling a plumber, she decided to get the bracelet herself by reaching inside the toilet with her arm. She figured the bracelet was just somewhere there, and she could feel around for it and get it for herself. And then wash her hands, because that's honestly pretty gross. However, she made the rookie mistake of not taking off her watch when she shoved her hand inside the U-bend. Now it's not only her bracelet that's in her toilet. Her watch was stuck down there too. And the problem is the watch was still attached to her arm. She had to call 911, which was already embarrassing in itself, but even made more so by the fact that she was a medic. The shame rose exponentially when her rescuers told her that they would have to detach the toilet and take it out to the yard in order to safely extract her hand. In the end, they got her hand out safely. There was no saving the toilet, though, as they had to break it just to free her. Number 7. In the worst place possible. One of my least favorite places to be is a porta potty, for obvious reasons. I mean, if I could avoid using one, I would. Knowing how filthy one of these things can get, just imagine getting stuck in one. And I mean really stuck, as in call for a rescue team stuck. If you want to know that feeling, just ask this guy from Cape Town, South Africa. The unnamed man got stuck in a porta potty in a construction site for 40 whole minutes. Baidu Adams, a blogger from the area who witnessed the bizarre situation, said that passerbys heard panic shouting coming from inside the toilet. The man was so stuck that only his arms, legs, and head were sticking out. People, of course, were trying to help him out, including the police. The funny and the sad thing is, there were over 40 people there before the police came, but only 2 or 3 were helping out. The rest were taking photos and videos, as we're opt to do. Number 6. Jailbreak gone wrong. Never put a square peg in a round hole. We've all been taught that as kids. Also never squeeze into a hole that's too small for you. Unfortunately, that's one childhood lesson this Brazilian inmate forgot. 4 inmates tried to escape through a hole made on their cell's wall using a metal pipe from the prison shower. Fortunately for them, they were as smart as a bag of hammers. These geniuses made the hole too small. Now, while the first inmate, who was small, was able to squeeze himself through, the next one who tried immediately got stuck, trapping himself and 2 other would-be escapees in the process. Because of this, slight miscalculation, the prison guards soon discovered the hapless inmate and put a stop to their escape attempt. That, and the fact that the stuck inmate was reportedly screaming for dear life for someone to help him out. Number 5. Best friend ever. Norwegian man and all-around stand-up guy Cato Bernstein Larsen was in a public toilet one day with a friend. His friend accidentally dropped his phone in the toilet bowl while urinating. The toilet wasn't connected to the sewer, rather all the waste was collected into an underground septic tank, and was emptied every now and then. Given this fact, Larson was positive he could retrieve the phone for his friend, and volunteered to climb down into the tank to fetch it for him. As soon as he did, however, he quickly regretted his decision. The amateur diver climbed in, but immediately realized he was stuck. He later described himself as apparently thin enough to go down, but not thin enough to come up again. The 20-year-old became sick as he stood thigh-deep in its contents and had to spend an hour completely enclosed in the small area. Rescuers arrived and were forced to destroy the toilet just to get Larson out. Number 4. Stuck in the spin cycle. Okie dokie guys, this is how a washing machine works. You take out your clothes and you put your clothes in the washing machine. You do not climb in the washing machine yourself. Is that clear? Because if you don't follow these simple instructions, you might end up like this guy. A man in Australia had to be rescued by firefighters after he climbed into a washing machine naked and subsequently got stuck. In fairness to the guy, he wasn't doing laundry the wrong way. He was just playing a game of naked hide-and-seek with his wife. Firefighters, paramedics, and yes, even search and rescue teams were dispatched to the location to help the poor guy out of his sticky predicament. The whole embarrassing ordeal lasted about 20 minutes, with rescuers successfully pulling out the hapless man using olive oil as a lubricant. You know, if they used Vaseline instead of the olive oil, this story would have been perfect. Number 3. Too embarrassed to call for help. Some people are just too proud to ask for help, no matter what sticky situation they find themselves in, or what situation that they're stuck in. The perfect example of that is this Chinese man who got stuck in mud after he decided to go for a late swim one evening in the Qiangjiang River in China. The 25-year-old approached what he believed was the edge of the river, only to find that he was sinking up to his waist in silt. He was stuck there for 4 whole hours, but not because he had no means to call for help. The guy had his mobile phone with him, and he could have called for help immediately when he realized that he was in trouble. Our proud guy tried for hours to free himself, but to no avail. When he realized that nothing he does is going to help, he then saw 2 passing fishermen and asked for their help. But even then, it proved difficult to free the man from his sticky situation. Rescuers had to be called, and even they took 7 more hours to finally pull the man free. The rescue would have been faster if not for the man, still clinging to his pride, refusing to take off his pants to aid in the rescue. Number 2. Stunt gone wrong. Many people are coming up with ever-increasingly bizarre ways these days just to get an adrenaline rush, or simply to get some extra likes on social media. From gluing their heads in a microwave and almost dying, to climbing up one of the world's tallest buildings without a harness just to take a selfie, and almost dying. There is a plethora of stupidity on the internet that people sometimes try to pass off as a daring stunt, a new trend, a new challenge. But in reality, it's just really, really stupid. Well, something similar happened when a man in China tried his luck at ice swimming. In a video that is now going viral on Chinese social media platforms, a man in his underwear took a plunge into an ice-cold lake, while his buddies recorded his stunt on a mobile camera. A few seconds into the video, the man missed an ice hole that he intended to be his exit. Swimming ahead, he got stuck and was trapped underneath the frozen water. Luckily, his friends were alert and rushed to rescue him after looking at the probable danger and started jumping on the ice to break it. Finally, they had to use a hammer to crack the ice, and they did end up releasing him. Before we move on, do me a favor. My analytics show that only about 15% of you watching are actually subscribed. Come on guys, what's up with that? Number 1. Don't leave the Prime Minister hanging. Getting stuck in a very awkward place doesn't just happen to ordinary people. Actually, the situation is even made funnier when it happens to public figures. Kinda like the current British Prime Minister, for instance. The one time he got stuck made international news to the hilarity of common folk like you and me. I'm not even British and it's still funny to me. British Prime Minister, then Mayor of London when the incident happened, was left dangling on a zipline for several minutes when it stopped working at an Olympic live screen event. He was trying out a 150-foot-high zipline in Victoria Park, where the games are being shown on big screens. The wire then lost momentum, leaving him suspended above what I'm pretty sure is a pretty big crowd of people. Instead of being irate or terrified, Johnson took it all in stride, and even started joking about his predicament to the amused onlookers that by the time have already gathered around him. Later, a spokesman for the mayor jokingly said that the mayor has survived his first zipline experience relatively unscathed. Have you ever been stuck on something before? Let us know down below in the comments. Also, feel free to check out the channel's other amazing videos. As always, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Later, everybody.